Welcome to R.A.T.S episode 2. Hopefully we've fixed the volume issues we had last time and things sound great. So without further ado, Ryan, would you like to give us a recap of what happened last time?
Sure thing. Our heroes probably expected a totally normal day in the office. Before they could even begin their typical workday, they were sent to a meeting with a potential client. Plakir Pigrit, a goblin skyway driver that hadn't heard from his son Blarm in a concerning amount of time. Sadasta, a teenage snake folk girl who's a friend of Blarm's, came along to share information as well. They said that the young goblin had been acting strangely lately, and talking about a mage called the Genie. The girls seemed to be hiding something, and the rats questioned them as best they could, but Guppy's use of telekinetic force scared her to the point that she no longer wished to speak with us. Investigating what leads they had, they tracked this genie to a magical spa called Oasis in a Bottle, located in Perla Tower. Unfortunately, their plan to investigate the place was interrupted. Large earth elementals were in the process of destroying the bridge between the two towers, and of course, a scuffle ensued. The rats were forced to contend not only with crazed earth elementals, but panicking city folk and overeager documentarians as well. While our heroes managed to survive, they were exhausted from the ordeal. Their only inkling as to why that happened was suspicious behavior from Astrid Bertelli, Director of Magical Operations at Perla Studios. The rats retreated, planning to investigate further after recovering from their misadventure.
Alrighty, so the next thing to do is to go through experience from the previous session. So if you go to the experience tab on your character sheet, there's a list of different things. And if you click on one of the buttons that's for something that you did on the previous session, that'll kind of highlight it purple. And that's something you can do during a session to keep track of it for the next time. And then once you've marked all the ones that you think are good, you can press the apply experience button, and that'll add that experience to your relevant talents. And then we'll each go through and say what buttons you press and like what kind of circumstance happened in the previous session to earn your character that experience. And it's entirely up to you whether something counts as experience for your character or not. So you don't need any input from me on that. So Jay, what did Ma get earn experience from, if anything?
I helped my I spent some percentage of my entertainment of my work time. I did like make money and I spent some of that on my patron to increase my to make friends with my patron, which gives me experience, increasing my patron's opinion of me, generates experience. I used my actions were I used Dazzle to some benefit, which was to prevent someone from attacking the golems from attacking us, and me specifically, which are both protecting myself from being attacked, and using Dazzle are both experiences. So those are all of my experiences.
And I should mention you can only earn each experience once per session, hence pressing a button to track it and then pressing apply on the next session. And the kind of experiences are in certain categories, and you can only earn one per category per session. So like each row, essentially, you can only have one button highlighted at a time because you're limited to earning that much experience per session.
Directly there's two experiences. One is directly using your most powerful talent skills, and one of them is doing stuff that is appropriate for doing stuff that isn't necessarily your skills, that is consistent with the feature.
Jack, what did LT1 earn experience from?
Yeah, as Jay was just describing, I had a few from my actions tab. Like I did a lot of my primary actions from my talents, but in terms of experiences, I used my gunnery weapon specialty to try to shoot a bunch of bullets at the elementals, but it was largely ineffective due to luck. Let's see. I used Cure Wounds. We interacted with powerful, dangerous magic. So I did as well. So I marked that one. I had the chaotic surge. And then in terms of story, I listed another hero or an allied NPC to take the safer, more cautious option when they were presented with a choice. And I would say I did that in 2 instances. One of them was basically constantly trying to get everybody to just leave the bridge because I didn't want it to collapse with everyone on it. And the other time when I suggested that we make an appointment at the Oasis instead of barging through the front door. And that's it.
And Ryan?
All right. I first of all used the forewarn feature. That's the one that allows me to make someone protected because I warned them about some thing coming up for them from my divination talent. I also, from tactics, one of the options is you fought alongside an ally for the first time. Does that mean like a new ally for the first time? Like, so once ever? Is that what that's meant to mean?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guess tactics is like, because, so it's meant to be used to like try to work with, like, accumulate new allies over time, I suppose?
I mean, that doing so makes you better at tactics is kind of the intent there. But there's also like another option, I think. And that's kind of the reason why you only get one from multiple options, is to where it's like, if one doesn't make sense for your character, it's really hard to do in a given campaign, usually, at least, there's a good chance you'll have one more to also work with. But
but I also dealt damage to a type of hostile NPC that you've never dealt damage to before, which is... Yep, I did that. I don't think I've ever fought an Earth Elemental before.
Yeah, seems likely.
And what else? I made an untalented roll.
Oh.
And...
I did, which is... egg on my face.
I think that's it for me. Pretty sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I believe so.
all right, so after a intense encounter on the bridge with the Earth Elementals and a day of recuperating and recovering, you're ready to get back to figuring out what happened to the lost goblin child. It's a new morning at the Hezhane office of the Relic Acquisition and Transportation Service. And your spell phones buzz as you all get a text message from Varvara, the Dragonkin journalist you met on the bridge. It says, "Y'all on this job? Better turn things around or your rep will go down the drain." There's a link to a post on Sending Stone, the most popular social media website. The link, the post is from Siddhasta, the young snakefolk girl. There's an animated image of her next to a large oil painting of a young goblin. He's got large glasses, a crooked smile, friendly eyes, a black hoodie, and hands in his pockets. Around his neck is a necklace with a rough, uncut ruby hanging from it. As you watch the animated image, the paint seems to move on its own, causing the portrait to smile, nod, and wave. The caption reads, "This is my friend Blarm. He's been missing for almost a week now. Blarm is funny, kind, smart, and maybe a little different from everyone else, but that's what makes him a joy to be around. His dad hired some rats to find him, but I don't think they really care about him. If anybody knows anything about where he might be, please let me know. I just want to make sure he's okay."
Yep, that makes sense. Margaret's pretty motivated to go find this kid. So, go to that meeting. Did we schedule? Did we introduce ourselves to the genie? Do we know?
We did not. We talked about making.
We haven't gone.
Yeah, we could just go and be like, try and make a meeting. Try and.
So,
I assume we're all above this like social media call out against rats, right?
it's up to you.
Like I think actions matter here. I don't think we need to.
No, I'm not.
We don't need to get in a Twitter fight with the teenager.
No, I'm not interested.
Yeah, certainly not to me. Interesting to me as well.
Miss Agavni walks into your shared office. Welcome back, layabouts. Hope you all remember to mark PTO for your day off yesterday. There'll be consequences if the numbers don't line up at the end of the year. Anyway, Smoker wanted to let you know that he's in the area and can give you a ride to Perler Tower. Something about not wanting to risk his friends on any more falling bridges. Honestly, the railroad acquisition and transportation service would be better off with a new crew, in my opinion. And she heads out. Smoker. Smoker is a name you recognize. He's another employee at R.A.T.S. Although his exact position is not clear. You've never seen his name in the employee directory or in any of the expense reports, although Smoker likely isn't his real name. He owns a private Skyway car he calls the Chimney, and he's responsible for safe disposal of anything dangerous he's collected. Somehow, he always seems to be exactly where he's needed. And you know that whenever you need to bring a dangerous artifact somewhere safe, you can take it to any Skyway entrance and he'll be there waiting for you. But getting in touch with him without something on hand to dispose of can be challenging. He doesn't have a spell phone or an online presence whatsoever.
And where is he waiting for us? I guess we can just go to.
Yeah, so across the street from the R.A.T.S office, there's a entrance to the Skyway, which is sort of like a metro system. So you're not really sure how, but in past experiences, you imagine that once you head over there, he'll just be there ready to pick you up. So
I have no reason. I have no reason to wait. I'm in.
Shall we call the Oasis on the way?
Can we? Is that available?
So all the information you found about it was in kind of like references and online posts and like gossip from people. There's not, as we kind of talked about last time, the nature of the business is not super up and up, so there's not much of an online presence or a way to contact. You imagine it's the kind of place where you just need to walk out and, or through word of mouth,
All right.
get in touch with them.
Sure thing. All right. I guess we go then.
All right. So you cross the street from the R.A.T.S Hezhane office to the conveniently located Skyway entrance. You head into the building to see a waiting platform with the tunnels containing the trams stretching in both directions. So imagine like a New York type subway or whatever, where you can see the tunnels in both ways, and there's a dozen or so people waiting for the next tram on the platform. Some have headphones in and are looking at their spell phones. Others are carrying shopping bags full of recently purchased goods, and still more are eating handheld hot dogs, pizza slices, or wraps. As you approach, one of the trams arrive. It's about 100 feet long, made up of cubic sections with seating inside. Most of the people on the platform step onto the tram, and the doors slide shut as it takes off. A few minutes later, smoke begins to fill out from one of the tunnels, immediately followed by a small cube-shaped tram with a single car made entirely out of red bricks. It stops at the platform, and several of the bricks roll back, revealing an entrance into a larger space than what you see in front of you. Leaning against one side of the newly formed doorway is a tall, thin man you recognize as Smoker. He has a long black cloak with high lapels, dark glasses, a thick, short beard and mustache, and a wide-brimmed black hat. None of his skin is visible, and a large unlit cigar hangs out of his mouth. He looks towards you, unreadable behind the mirrored glasses, and nods towards his Skyway car that he calls the Chimney. And just is kind of like leaning there waiting for you to come in.
Good morning, Smoker.
He nods
Just
to
step
you.
on it.
Yeah, quick nod as well. Step on in.
I am getting a vibe. I'm gonna hey Smoker, how you been? How's the family?
He just shrugs.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And he kind of points at you, Ryota, and kind of turns his head like questioningly.
He points at me and turns his head questioningly.
Yeah. He doesn't talk much.
I don't know. Oh, he's asking about my family. Okay, I was like, wait.
And you. This is an and you situation.
Yeah. I actually got to see my sister yesterday. She's doing great. Her kids, my nephews, are starting school soon, so they're all the whole household's getting ready for that. You know, the big change.
He kind of strokes his beard a bit and then gives you a thumbs up and points inside the car.
Get on in.
Yeah. Land in a chair.
So,
How long of a ride are we gonna have?
Probably about 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
So immediately inside the chimney is a bare room with arcane runes carved on the ground, as well as several glass doors leading into other rooms. Through one you can see the cockpit where Smoker heads and begins piloting the chimney through the skyway without saying another word. A second room contains a bed, chest, closet, and bookshelf, and the third contains a bathroom. Well, not all the doors are glass, but and then looking back through the doorway you entered, instead of the platform, you see a fourth room containing a small kitchenette. The whole place smells like thick smoke, but you can breathe perfectly fine and the air tastes clean. Something your mind has trouble reconciling. Your only view of the outside is through the glass door into the cockpit and the screens in that room that show the exterior of the chimney. After a few minutes, the skyway interior of concrete wires and plumbing gives way to one of the connectors between the two skyscrapers. Metal rails support the chimney as it moves between them, but besides that you can see in all directions, including the damage on the side of Perla Tower from where the bridge fell 2 days ago. As you enter Perla Tower, you know your destination lies at a lower level, but you see the chimney instead move into a tunnel that leads vertically upward. You rise several stories before the chimney begins to slow down. In a strange, unnatural manner, the doorway to the kitchen room slides to the side, revealing another skyway platform. You see another R.A.T.S crew, some covered in ice and others with burn marks, rushing towards the chimney. One, an orc woman, carries a large metal box. Smoker pulls a lever and the glass door slides open, and the woman throws the box into the room in the center of all of you, which lands with a clunk on the ground at your feet. She says, "Thanks for the pickup. That's your problem now," as the door slides shut and the chimney starts moving downward. On closer inspection, it seems to be a sort of window-mounted air conditioning unit. It's labeled Hobgood's Premium Temperature Moderator 3000. There's two knobs on it, one saying temperature, and it's currently set to chill, and the other setting being warm. The other knob says power with a range from 1 to 10, and the knob is pushed a few centimeters past 10. Despite the power cord dangling unplugged on the ground, the AC unit is humming and blasting air outward as the temperature inside the chimney begins to drop uncomfortably fast. What do you do?
Can I go and like try to turn the knob to lower the intensity? Is this how things usually go? Do people just toss things into this place like a grenade?
You've done it before, and this room, the doors and the walls are kind of built to protect the driver from this kind of stuff, but there's not really room for passengers. So the knob is sort of stuck. You can make a roll to try to adjust it, but it's not going to be a straightforward test.
Uh-oh. Oh dear. Y'all, any of you got any expertise on this kind of thing, on circuitry perhaps? I don't think this is a normal AC unit.
I'm definitely just taking temperature readings, which is, I guess, something maybe I can just do. And I want to suggest that the temperature in this car is quickly becoming uninhabitable for the both of you. Perhaps we should make an early exit, or I could try to turn this down if you want.
Can I try and go to the kitchen? There's a kitchen door, isn't there?
Yeah, you can open it up and head into the kitchen.
Is there insulation?
Not between the two rooms, no.
Okay. That's the test I was making. I have nothing. I can make a bad attempt at forcing it over. That's all I've got. I'll roll untalented. Mogget's gonna be. You have a couple of seconds to figure out something where Mogget doesn't just go.
I mean, that's probably gonna be what I'm doing too, because I'm like, I don't know how this works. Just start like hammering at the knob or something like that. Or,
5,
um,
4, 3,
looking at it, I don't see
2,
anything obvious.
1. Log it clicks. I'm untalented.
All right.
How hard is this? Oh no.
I see
Mine
two
did-
sets. One of them's a success with a consequence.
All right. Well.
Well, why did I get a D? Why would I? It also automatically rolled the bad one for me. A D1 for me.
It was
Something weird
working
happened.
great when we were playing with it earlier. Now I don't see anything.
Now let me try again.
Um.
Well,
Yeah,
how difficult is it?
Standard roll.
Oh,
I don't see anything you'll need to tell me. Or...
I got a
Failure.
hard failure. Part of the problem is that I need to choose whether I'm going to reroll or not.
Alright.
Does someone want to give me aid or ooh, someone tried to aid me?
I'm
What's
seeing so
happened?
many dice
Oh!
flying.
There's a whole
there
lot of
some
misses
button-
flying right now.
What
think-
happened?
If I think I was pressing, I mean, lots of things happened. I think if I'm like, I'm pressing a key with my
then.
like,
Mhm.
if you
I
press
mean,
invalid number, it doesn't want me to heal. I accidentally pressed. How do I? Can I? What's happening?
Can I provide aid by trying to give Mogget like a blanket or something?
Sure. You have first aid stuff, so you can
Yeah.
give aid.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll take like this like space age foil blanket off a out of a first aid pack on the wall and try to wrap it around Mogget.
So then you're gonna roll medicine or whatever you're healing.
So do you have supply to spare, or are you saying like there's one that Smoker has here for these kind of emergencies?
I was trying to say that this is like a RATS vehicle. We'd be prepared with something like a physical barrier.
Okay. Yeah. So you still need to roll a talent to aid.
Yeah. So can I do just untalented since I don't have any blanket related talents?
Okay, sure. I'm happy to.
Well, I'll think about this in the future, but right now the rules is written is that you can't use untalented for aiding. You have to be using.
Can't use untalent.
No.
Okay, so could this be? This is a form of healing, I suppose, even
Yeah.
though it's not magic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Roll healing.
What was the size of this?
So
So
just
you
get
whatever,
roll your
just roll
heal.
talent?
Yeah, just your healing talent die, nothing else.
It's a miss.
Uh-oh.
All right. So we're at 3 complications.
We'll take those on the chin.
Okay.
I'm not sure what we're doing. Well, I really. Yeah, I'll take the complication.
So first it gets colder, and then the Mogget, since you're the one closest to it, you become slowed, just from like you're like shivering and
Sure.
super cold. And you lose 1 stamina, but because it's from cold, if you can get warm up again, you'll get that stamina back.
But not the health. Will I get the health back?
No.
It's fine. Whatever. Fine. Fine. That's fine. I'm fine.
Can I call out to Smoker and be like, "Hey, Smoker, we could really use some help out here. What do I know what he usually does to contain these things?"
He stays in the cockpit. Is how he contains these things.
Well, presumably he can't just leave the stuff here in the middle of the room. Somebody has to
Drop it
put
off.
it in storage.
Yeah, that's Arch's job.
You can. Do you have a general knowledge?
I have 2 points in general
Yeah.
knowledge.
So you know that typically when you throw stuff for him to deal with, he So one piece of information, he does stay in the cockpit, and this room is designed to contain that sort of stuff. Second piece of information is that he has drop-off points. So you just need to, deal with it for a certain amount of time. And I'll go ahead and tell you that it's gonna be, um, after 4 rolls are done, he'll be able to drop it off. So basically, you should just focus on mitigating the consequences of being in a small space with this dangerous artifact for three more rolls.
All right. Okay, great. Looks like so. Okay, so I wouldn't call out the smoker because I know what he normally would do to deal
Yeah.
with something like this. Instead, I think I'm going to look down at my mirror and try to check the future about this and use my power to make Mogget protected from the neck. I'm going to use Forewarn. So you will become protected.
Because you're muted?
Thanks.
Am I muted?
No, I'm muted.
Yep.
Oh.
I'll give you an advantage because you're already starting to see what this thing is doing and the danger it presents. So you're and you've seen Mog get harmed by it already. So that's a D10 fortune with your.
So it's like more like I'm like looking down to like see the exact moment when it's gonna burst flames out of it or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So I roll. And I'm sorry, which die am I rolling? The fortune.
D10 for fortune. So I think that's
Alright.
easy.
All right.
Clean.
Hey, nice work. All right. So that was Mogget you targeted. Mogget, you gain the protected condition.
All right, I'm gonna say like Mogget. In exactly 14 seconds, you need to take 2 steps away from it. But until then, we keep working. We'll try to figure this thing out.
This is you said protected?
Yes.
Okay, well I'm gonna try the same thing again. Untalented, unless anyone had with protected. I'm
so
happy
you're trying to turn the
power
lower.
lower.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Standard or
Yeah.
I'm very bad at video games. But the protected just burns the protected, right?
Well, that's 2 complications.
No, 2 complications. But we can't if I spend a stamina to survive this to beat it, it goes down to 2. It's still 2 complications.
So spending a stamina is a reroll of the talent die. So if you spend the stamina and the reroll is successful, then you would suffer no complications because the protected would get rid of the remaining one.
Oh, but it's terrible. No, I'm gonna just accept the 2 just accept a complication.
Yeah. All right. This
is 3 dice. This is our 3rd roll.
That was the 2nd roll. No. Oh, yours. No, yours are the 3rd roll. You're right. So the wind in the room picks up that's blowing out of this device.
Sure.
And Ryota, it kind of like knocks you into the wall, and you take 1 point of damage.
Okay. I'll take like a wider stance so I can kind of fight against this wind, and I'll say, do tell Smoker I apologize for this, and I'll just pull my pistol out and I'll just go bam, 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 and fire 3 shots straight into the air conditioner.
All right. So, as a magical artifact, this thing is pretty resistant to physical damage. Otherwise, people dealing with it would have probably just destroyed it before delivering it here. So that's going to be 2 disadvantages on this roll.
Okay. Let me see. This is the gunnery weapon specialty.
Yep.
So I'm using one of my
Oh, so
ammo.
that does ignore disadvantages though. So, because no fortune is involved when you use that ability. But yeah, so you can use that, and then we'll see how much damage you do.
I mean, there's also a thing of like, I would argue that there's a way you could make it stop working without breaking the artifact.
Okay, 1 miss. 3 misses.
Okay. And I believe it says if you roll 2 or more misses, you suffer a complication.
If 2 or more dice, suffer complication.
Okay. Let's see. Alright, well, no. You're a robot, so that doesn't bother you. Gotta pick something else.
Well, never bothered you anyway.
Alright, so yeah, Ryota, you lose 1 stamina from just the sheer coldness of the room. But if you can get to an intense heat, you'll get that stamina back.
Gotcha.
It has to be an intense heat. It can't be just normal heat.
No, you gotta warm up.
Before, I was gonna say, because if it's a problem, I could just like, can we snap the thing the other? Can we do one quick little try and get right before it gets thrown out?
So what happens is the chimney slows to a stop, and as it does so, the wall where the bedroom is, because you know, like when you're like going up an elevator and it has like the glass side, and then you see like when it gets to your floor, it kind of you see like it slides down or something. Yeah, so that's what you see, except it's the door that was in front of you, and that wall slides to the side, and you see an empty black void. There's a little bit of like kind of a round porthole looking into it, and then Smoker kind of gestures like this.
Yep. Can I try turning the heat dial up to the heat side for like a second before throwing it back into the void?
Yeah. So you turn the heat up, and it's enough for the 2 of you to get your stamina back.
More
Thinking.
Chuck it into the void.
Yeah, and then you toss it into that black pit, and the temperature slowly returns to normal. Smoker gives you a thumbs up, pulls a lever, and the door slides shut, and then starts continuing on to your actual destination.
We're not gonna.
Who the hell was that? Who threw that in here? I'm gonna find out the goddamn names. You told me that there was an orc woman who was the one who threw it in. What was her name again?
Didn't give you her name. 1 sec.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you did. Okay, never mind.
Pull that up.
Fuck, I don't have. Go ahead.
Rogmesh Shalor is her name.
Gotcha.
I was gonna make her the character.
Will be terrible.
Legend of Montez.
Alright. But with that taken care of, you slide into another Skyway platform. And 1 sec.
I imagine like we're all like wet because like we had like ice crystals on us that are now melting. Like, so we just step into it. a public place just sudden, like completely like wet for no
Yeah,
like people are wondering like
weather worn for no reason. We never went outside.
yeah.
All right, so Smoker kind of waves at you as you realize this is the nearest Skyway stop to the Oasis in the Bottle. So you head out and you walk between some of the buildings in the interior of Perla Tower, passing record shops and furniture stores, before entering a more rundown area of the lower tower. There's overflowing trash cans, multiple boarded up theaters, and a homeless demon kin with all her belongings in a shopping cart next to her. Um, Eventually, you find a building with a fake but life-sized palm tree outside, and a dried up fountain in front of it. Across the street are two dwarven men playing cards, one in somewhat dirty coveralls, and the other has a brown blanket covering his whole body except his head and hands. Um, he eyes you as you step towards the entrance of Oasis in a Bottle, but the other seems fully invested in the card game. What do you do?
Those people are across the street, you said,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And they're kind of like the only people you see walking around this area. Them and the homeless demon kin who's about a block behind you.
Or maybe just going in.
Yeah, I want to give the person who's looking at us a dirty look as we go in. Because I'm distrustful.
As you look at him, he kind of narrows his eyes and then looks back and plays a card and says something to the dwarf he's playing with.
Yeah, I'd like to take up a position in the back of the party just to keep my eye on those people until we can get inside.
Okay. I mean, are y'all heading inside now, or?
Yeah, hold on. One thing. This is like a sort of magical spa, yes? At least that's the impression we got.
Yeah.
It's gonna be strange to see LZ walking into a spa, yeah? Because, like, LZ doesn't have, like, a body.
I definitely don't need access to the warmth that you two do right now. That's for sure.
Yeah. More specifically, what you learned in your research is that it's a place called a soothing parlor where they use magic on your mind to make you feel calm and relaxed. So in that sense, yeah, like robots wouldn't get any benefit from that, but
Most
might
people
be
looking at LZ wouldn't know that LZ's not a robot. So
No, the excuse is easy for me. Is easy that you're just like you're interested in how they do what they do because it's like because treating a pain and mental distress is
true. True.
part of the job.
I could see that. I am worried about these people on the outside basically closing us in. So why don't you connect with my spell phone and I will sit outside and see if I can just watch this card game.
Sure.
That's fine by me. I'm into that.
okay.
Try to look stressed. It's not hard.
What is there an insight?
Hey, can I have an ability that I should make use of that I think I won't always get an opportunity to use, so I should try to make use of it. But I don't know, maybe it looks too suspicious. I don't know. I am also distrustful, so maybe I'm okay with looking suspicious. I have an ability called Reconnaissance, where that lets me like take a few minutes to like examine a place from outside to see if there are
Oh, we're super into that.
like. Oh, well, here's how. I'll just read you the ability. Move around and observe a structure or compound. While you do so, you can ask the narrator any of these questions, and they will tell you the answers. Where are each of the non-hidden entrances? How many non-hidden guards are on the exterior? What section holds the most valuable objects? And I'd like take a few minutes to like taste the joint.
Yeah, so there's sort of like because it's like you're in in the interior of a skyscraper. So I'm picturing kind of like a city street with buildings on the side, but above you is sort of like a roof with like higher levels of the skyscraper. And there's like kind of alleyways between some of the buildings and stuff. So you're able to go kind of around it, and because that's a feature from the stealth talent, and there's no roll involved, you're not gonna have to worry about it like causing complications or anything like that. So one thing you can tell is that the building is actually up against the edge of the skyscraper, and you can't get to it from where you are, but maybe from another way. But you do know that there is a balcony on the other side with a door into the same building, as well as the door on the street in the interior. And those are the two entrances you can spot.
Does the balcony have a fire escape?
No, so it's like a balcony that's like outside the skyscraper,
Yeah.
on the floating island. So it's like
Okay.
a
yes,
mile.
yes.
Like there's nothing for a fire escape to connect to in that sense.
This is one of the ground floors. They're all ground floors. Like,
yeah. Trying to do my best to explain it because I get excited by things that are not normal, but that also makes it hard to explain without visuals. But so if you have any other questions or need clarification, please let me know.
is there a way to to the balcony from other buildings, or is it only?
So there are other balconies, but none that
Sure.
are connected to it. So you would need
Okay.
some method to, and like there are
Walk
places
around.
where the street connects to like an overlook.
Sure.
So like it's from one of those that you like spot this balcony, and just by like thinking it through in your head, you can tell that that's connected to the building that you're interested in. No visible guards. There is a simple security camera over the front door. And let's see.
How many?
What was the third question?
question.
Do you get to ask all three?
It says you can ask the narrator any of these questions and they will tell you the answers.
Okay.
So I assume
sweet.
yes.
Answers, yeah, certainly.
And the last question is, what section holds the most valuable objects?
Yeah, so you've been in buildings with a similar layout before, where the front is like a shop space and then the rear is like a living quarters. So you imagine that balcony probably connects to the owner's living quarters, where they would have all the money that their shop makes, as well as anything else of value.
Gotcha. All right. So I take a few minutes, look around the place, make sure nothing is untoward, looks shady, and then head inside.
And I'm gonna guess that the dude that was looking at us. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna I'm gonna use the technical term. I'm going to decipher that the NPC outside is is suspicious. Is primary, and the strong emotion. It says very strong emotion. Is suspicion.
Alright, give me 1 sec. So that is. I don't want to. I might reword that once I. Alright, but for now, what I'll say is your deduction is successful.
So I'll get advantage against him next time.
Okay. Make sure.
If we interact with him in the future, I get advantage. That's fine.
I might reword that ability in the future to be where you have to do it like that, the turn that you make the roll or something like that. But
Sure. I'm just like, I know that guy. I understand him.
So
I'm ready for him.
inside, the walls and ceiling are painted a calming blue with soft cloud-like carpet beneath your feet. Detailed oil paintings of palm trees, deserts, and sand dunes decorate the walls. Incense burns and quiet music plays from speakers all around. There's several white couches and a bell that rings as you step through the door. You immediately hear a slow, deep voice speaking into your mind telepathically. I'll be there in a minute, darlings. Just finishing up with another client. Please make yourselves comfortable.
I think
So I'm
Ryoga
guessing
does-
LZ1 can't hear any of this since it's in their mind.
LG1 is still outside, or when?
Yeah.
LG1 would not hear that.
Yeah. Okay.
Ryoto would just be like, like just instinctively. I hate when they do that.
Yeah. Mogget.
Hey, when they do what?
You're outside. You,
I'm connected with your spell phone.
oh yeah. He talked to our minds. Yeah. Over the spell phone. Yeah. He's using the mind talking thing. My friend sometimes.
I guess that tracks.
Right.
My friend
guess-
does that sometimes.
I just want to sit down in a chair, and like I assume there's a waiting room, right?
Yeah, that seems to be the room you're in.
Alright, I guess I'll just take a seat, look around, see if there's anything weird in this place.
Mogget's gonna, even if there's a seat, Mogget's gonna sit in some corner somewhere on the floor. Play a video game.
All right. A few minutes later, you see a man with like a doctor's coat on come through the back door and then kind of give you all a nod and head towards the front door. And LJ1, you see this guy step out through the front door. And something about him seems a little familiar to you, but you can't quite place it. You see him kind of turn past you, not really noticing you, and just start heading down the street away from Oasis in a Bottle. Back inside, the genie steps into the waiting room. He's a larger man wearing many layers of differently colored robes and a scarf covering his mouth, as well as lots of rings, necklaces, and bracelets. He's a thought infused, having semi-translucent, sparkling skin that changes colors from deep blues to pale purples to bright oranges. He only speaks telepathically. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you all have been having a lovely day. And if not, well, maybe I can help with that. A few rules before we begin. First, no using names here. I don't want to know your names, and you can just call me the genie. Secondly, I only work on fully consenting clients, and I can tell if they're being coerced or manipulated. So, what are you here for?
Afternoon. We heard that this place might be able to help with stress, and I like give a sort of knowing glance to Margaret. Yeah, we've been experiencing quite a bit of that lately, and heard that you might be able to help us out with that. So we thought we'd come talk to you, see what exactly your services are, and how you might be able to help us.
You came to the right place. I can offer memory wiping, attitude adjustment, lie detection, emotion management, mind blanking, and more. That stress won't be a problem at all. Come this way.
Sure thing. I follow him.
No, I'll follow along.
So there's he leads you to a room where there's several like kind of like massage beds, and he gestures to you to lay down, and then kind of stands at the back where your head would be.
Mm-hmm. Before I lay down, I would like to just sort of like.
Mogget's gonna try and go first on purpose.
Okay.
You can case the joint while Mogget gets up to mischief. Is how I'm going to respond to this situation.
Sure.
Like Mogget wants to distract him a little bit by being the first target, while you think about other things. Because Mogget's like interested in the craft of the thing as well as.
Okay.
Like
I have an ability called threat analysis, where I have to observe an NPC for a few minutes. So I'm going to start trying to use that, and it will just tell me what 3 of their complications are.
Okay. So.
And I'm just going to be like trying to observe him over the course of the conversation.
Yeah. So some of the complications that he could inflict include removing any number of mental conditions affecting a single character near him, choosing a primary action, and a near hero must perform that primary action on their next turn, and can or do something or ask a hero to do something that would embarrass them.
Cool. So, gotcha. Mind control stuff. Before we get started, I just want to talk about a little bit about what exactly the service is. Like, one thing I noted that you said the memory erasure, but then also mind blanking. What's the difference between those 2 things? Turning into Will again.
Well, if you break up with an ex, I can make sure you remember that they never existed, if that's what you want. Or that's a common use of memory wiping. Whereas mind blanking is if you just have too many thoughts in that head of yours and want some time to think nothing and exist in pure bliss. I can offer that as well. Many of my clients do enjoy it. It's one way to cope with stress, and the thing that I'd offer you now.
It's and that's just a temporary effect.
Yes, only for the duration of your time here.
Day. Sweet.
All right.
And do you have any like Mogget's gonna show some interest in the craft of the thing. Mogget is into, and like lightweight. Mogget's like not saying it out loud because she has coworkers in the room, but she's like, oh, I could do this job. This is a job I might be able to do in the future. So like it's like, and talking on that angle, it's like, oh, so like, you know, like, and somewhat on that angle and somewhat on the angle of like, how would I, like, what are the fail safes? How do you build up a reputation that you don't fuck this up? Like, what are the risks? How do you manage those risks?
So, you should certainly know, and I tell this before beginning work on any of my clients, that I will be peering into your minds to determine how best to treat you. And that might result in me uncovering a few things that you might want not shared. And that's sort of just the nature of what I do here. So if you're not comfortable with that, that's fine, but unfortunately I won't be able to provide any of my services to you. But if that's okay with you, once I peer into your mind, I'm able to confirm that your desire for my treatment is true. And that way I ensure that I don't ever have any unhappy customers. I give you exactly what you're looking for, and no more, no less. As long as it's in my capabilities, of course.
Very cool.
I must be honest with you. I am a little concerned about side effects. You know, when you're, you know, dealing with mental manipulation and peering into a person's mind, moving things, rearranging things. I'm worried about long-term consequences from this kind of thing. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Well, there are certainly many who perform this art who do so in far more nefarious ways than I. And heavy manipulation of a mind can create a sort of dependence on it. I do my best to mitigate those effects, but anytime you have a good treatment for a sickness, you want as much of that treatment as you can get as long as the sickness remains. And so, as we dive into the source of your stress, in addition to managing it for you, I'll also be doing my best to help you figure out other ways to stop that stress. Because while mind blanking is a pleasant and enjoyable experience and can give you the mental energy you need to face the challenges of the day, the source of your stress can't be solved at Oasis in a bottle. And that's something that you'll need to accomplish on your own.
Right. Okay. So you haven't had anybody, I don't know, suddenly had a sudden change in behavior or something like that after coming to you a few times, perhaps, or maybe, I don't know, disconnecting from people around them or something like that. I don't know. I'm just a little concerned. That's all.
The diving into my clients' minds, the only thing I've ever seen is improvement. And yes, sometimes they shun those that they were causing them stress before, but I guarantee you that they're better off because of it. And I wouldn't do my work if it were otherwise.
Interesting.
Margaret rolls her eyes. Margaret's assumption at this point is that the goblin fucked off because the root of the problem was their dad. Right? They have an overbearing dad who has high expectations of them. He's a business dad. He can afford us, and he's a fucking little art student, trash art student that doesn't want to be corporate.
Certainly possible.
Margaret knows nothing about this, so wants to. So like that was the solution that this genie found, you know, would be my guess. Well, anyway, Margaret wants to try, and a disclaimer: I have some connection mentally with a being that is somewhat that is not weak, and that might be uncomfortable for you. They are also interested in some of the similar ideas, though much more interested in play but enjoy and friendship, and these seem at least adjacent to your interests, but can be dangerous. My friend can be dangerous, but I would love to try your thing. How much does it cost?
1 rune per session, which is 1 wealth.
Yep. I know what that means. Yeah, I'll pay a rune to ruin the genie's day. I mean, I don't know. Like, can I make a roll to, like, whatever? I'll pay the rune. And then, like, you tell me what the fuck happens.
Can I just speak to Margaret for just a moment? Oh, I didn't say her name. Can I speak to my friend here for just a moment before we try this out?
Sure.
Of course.
I'll take a little time.
Feel free to head back to the lobby. I'll be here when you're ready.
All right. Just give us just a couple of minutes of just some privacy. All right. But now I'm worried about he's going to be able to hear us no matter what.
I don't give a fuck.
Because I wanted to try using my battle plan thing to like be like.
I don't really. So Margaret has no interest doesn't particularly want to start a fight.
No, I'm not talking about like a fight, but I just want to be prepared.
Prepared to
in case something goes wrong.
Yeah. I actually don't hate the like battle plan for like the social battle plan where we're sitting here going like, okay, so like, do we put on the good cop, bad cop, or do we hit them with the like?
Exactly.
Yeah.
With like that's the battle plan, and it's not like we're gonna like we might fight if it comes down to it, but that's part of the plan. Most of it is like Margit will try like the battle plan being loosely. Margit will go in, get it affected. Margit kind of hopes to get something out of like hopes that meeting my patron is a sufficient what's the word for it? Is a game changer enough to like to get some information out of him. I'm just like I'm gonna roll for that somewhere in here, and then get some information out of him that way. But I don't know, or to convince him that I have his client's best interest in mind, because I'm not gonna rat out this kid. You guys might, but I'm not. So that's whatever. We'll see.
All right.
But
yeah,
Yeah,
I just
I
want to spend
Oh,
a
go
little
ahead.
bit of time just cautioning Margit to be very careful because I'm very
Okay.
concerned about this guy messing around with her mind.
I want to come in over the spell phone.
Yeah.
I'll say
I'm sure
I can only hear half of your conversation, but I'd be really interested in this. I'm saying, do you think, besides erasing memories, do you think he can call them forth?
Oh shit! Maybe you could try.
Do you trust
Toss the
him?
gold.
I don't, but it's certainly possible.
He,
If he knew what I
He
was,
seems-
would that cause us a problem?
I don't see why he
I don't
gives a
think
would
so.
give a shit. I think the front he is the face he is providing us is a slightly sketchy but genuine mental healer. It's just illegal. So he has to be doing it in a sketchy way, and when you're going to someone illegal, they're sketchy regardless of how genuine they want to be. But the face he is giving us is a genuine mental healer, where with magical mental healer, where that activity is illegal.
Mhm.
You might have some luck with him. We
Okay.
don't know how good he is. I don't have his references. Can I go online and you can't look up, right? Like, because it's illegal, you can't go get Yelp reviews. You know?
I can ask him for references. Maybe he'll recommend me Blarm, and I'll be able to find Blarm.
Yeah. If you don't want to risk your own minds, I have a feeling that he won't be able to have much of an effect on me either way. I'm willing to take defense on this one, or put myself on the table so you can snoop around.
I think we have two people. You are not the only person who is less worried about their mind than they could be. This motherfucker's not going to be the most dangerous person fucking around in Margit's mind. This could still go wrong. I expect consequences to be consequences, but like the way I expect consequences to go to be like my friend does something to me. this guy is not the concern for Margit. Margit has had worse things in her head. So it's like not even a little bit worried about some punk. I mean, like, this is maybe false confidence, because consequences are consequences on the dice rolls. But Margit is also not worried about the consequences to.
Okay, we'll keep the channel open.
Certainly,
All right.
absolutely. I'm keeping that. I'm keeping the walkie-talkie open. Everything I say, LZ hears.
Okay. All right, Margaret, if you feel all right with this fellow brain.
If we immediately solve this without having to go in there, I would come back tomorrow and try it out.
All right. Ryota can't help but like try to be in dad mode, where he's just like, all right, if you feel comfortable with it.
That's great.
And hey, LZ,
It's too late for me, but good on you for trying.
LZ, if Margit finds that she loves it and it's a wonderful experience, maybe you can try it out as well. I am not getting anywhere near that chair.
Yeah. So yeah, Margit's gonna go in and give it a shot.
And see, I mean, hey, maybe you can push back. I don't know. Maybe
That's what I'm saying. That's the game. That's what I'm
Alright.
playing at. Is I'm like, if he's poking around in my head, maybe I can poke back.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. Do
Yeah.
you think that the conversation we had might count towards
Yeah.
battle tactics preparation?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That we just
Battle
did
plan?
that. So.
Yeah. All right. So we are all now prepared,
We love to be
which is
prepared.
a condition.
Do I have? I'm not protected.
LG1, you're saying outside for now?
Yeah, and I'm hoping that the card players didn't notice that while I was just talking to them, I started kind of fumbling with and looking at a golden wedding band in my hand throughout this whole conversation and then put it away.
Alright, so Margit, you head to the... Ryota, are you gonna go with Margit and be in
Yeah,
the
I
room?
would like to just be in the room with Margit,
Emotional support
acting like a concerned dad.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
perhaps a concerned. I don't know what our age difference is. I've forgotten, but
Yeah, I think you're a little older than Margit. I think Margit certainly behaves younger than she is, but she's an adult.
Mhm.
But
So
also,
depending on, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let the proprietor of this place
but
assume
I
that I'm
don't hate
either
the
her
game.
boyfriend
Yeah.
or.
Adult. No. I think Dad is the right vibe, even though, because Margit behaves childishly. So
Hold on, got a fire
Margit
alarm
is.
going off in my house.
Manage that. Those are important. That might be a CO2 alarm, and CO2 alarms, or whatever it is, CO alarms, is don't get brain damage.
Right. So Margit, as you lay down on the bed and the genie places his hands over your head, LZ1, you notice the dwarf with like the big brown blanket. It's like playing the game, and in the middle of the game, kind of stops, stands up, and pulls out a spell phone and begins talking to someone on it. The other dwarf seems kind of annoyed, but doesn't say anything, and just is kind of sitting there waiting.
I'm actually going to interrupt that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna step forward and say, that's rude. You're playing a game. And I want to get close enough to try to pick up on what kind of conversation this is happening.
Okay. That's something that, like, a normal robot, I don't think kind of a reaction they would have. So I'm gonna have you make a roll to keep your cover.
So I'm not gonna try to keep my cover. That's not what robots do.
Okay.
I'm trying to interact here.
All right. So the all right. So a couple of things happen. The dwarf on the phone. You catch a little bit of Yeah, it's strange that they would hold on, and then he holds the call is still on, but like he holds his hand over the speaker and says, what model are you?" And seems kind of confused.
Or a model? What kind of question is that? What kind of model are you?
The dwarf in like the coverall says, of course the only robots we see around here are broken ones. I've never heard a robot talk like that. And the one standing up says, "Yeah, something weird going on with that one." Um, and he starts walking close to you, like kind of getting in your personal space and like looking around, kind of like doing an inspection of your frame, as if he's looking for something.
Okay, so I'm fine with that. I'll just say I only interrupted because you were in the middle of the game and you got up to make a phone call. That's rude. You should have continued the game.
And then the one sitting down says, "Yeah, it's definitely broken, but makes some sense. Why did? Come on, let's finish the game." And he says, "Now I gotta figure out what's going on here. Who's your owner? What are you? Who are those people who brought you here? If you answer this, I'll return to my game."
I'm not at liberty to discuss my owners. So, can I make some sort of untalented read on this situation before I decide to act while I have this dwarf in arm's reach?
Yeah. You can make a roll.
Okay. Yeah, so I just want to know. I'm trying to decide right now if this phone call was about him being called to check out the party while they're being distracted. And on another note, I do not intend to let this person into the building no matter what.
Okay. I'm going to give you easy on this because you've been watching their motions carefully and picked up on a few details that might give you some additional information.
Okay. Clean success.
Okay. Yeah, the way he's talking and communicating and the things he's doing, you can definitely tell he's had experience working with robots before. He knows how they should typically respond to things. The other thing you notice as he's been moving around and getting closer to you and you're taking a closer look, definitely has a good amount of gear hidden underneath that blanket. Not sure exactly what type, but like your training immediately makes you assume, like, prepare for the worst kind of thing, and it's like there's enough space under that blanket for there to be like weaponry. If you're not sure, but that's something like you would immediately think like, oh, I should be prepared for that, even if that's not the case.
Okay, so then if that's not the case, if he's not going to immediately attack me, can I just switch to I want to appeal to his interest in robots. I'll just, I'll stand there and say, I'm not a robot, and let him like peek around to see like what's different about me.
Okay. Let's see. He doesn't immediately respond to that, but he does like look around a bit more and kind of thinks for a second, and then he puts the phone back up to his ear and says, let's see. One sec. Yeah, Vasilis will definitely want to check this one out. Do you want me to bring it to you, or is he gonna come here? And then he seems like someone's talking on the other side.
What was the name?
Vasilis.
Okay, I'm not going to like react to that. I'm just taking note of what he's saying.
Okay.
I figure outside dealing with me is better than inside causing problems.
Yeah. All right. So while we wait for that response, we'll switch back to Maggit and Ryota. So Maggit, you're laying on the kind of massage bed with the genie's hands on your head, and Ryota, you're kind of standing off to the side. So now, so the genie says to Maggit directly. So Ryota, you don't hear this part. So as best you're able, try to just clear your own mind. That'll make things a little bit easier for me. And tell me, and you don't need to, you can speak out loud if it's easier for you, or just think, what is most bringing you stress right now?
I mean, I'm happily gonna think about the goblin that is missing.
Okay.
Morgan is not a subtle motherfucker.
I see. The and yes. I mean, and Maga, you have this strange experience of overhearing a conversation between two other people that's happening in your mind.
Yeah. He's getting fucked with. Good. Can I make? Does this please my patron? Am I?
So the patron doesn't speak in words, more like thoughts and feelings and intentions, and you hear the genie's kind of responses in words. But kind of what you overhear is them discussing that the patron would like to get to know more people, but they can only do so mentally, and would like to have the genie share knowledge of them through his mental magic, which is essentially the same offer you were given when you first encountered the friend.
Sure.
And the genie seems kind of hesitant, and in this mental connection, you know, and with your insight, you can kind of pick up a little bit, like he has a genuine concern over his clients, and he can sense the power there, even if it's not present and acting
I'm happy
against
to
him.
Yeah.
But I will say that if you put any effort towards convincing the genie to help out the friend, this will count as getting a pleasing your
Certainly. My patron. I'll be like, my friend is slightly dangerous, but with moderation and care and the skill you seem to have, he is. They are a friend, a useful diversion.
Go ahead and make a roll.
I think I'm gonna roll insight. I'm gonna roll insight because I'm trying to figure out what what this guy wants from his, the fact that I know he cares about his his patrons and what he wants from the world. I'm gonna try and use that to.
And this will be easy.
And one day I'm gonna roll not terribly.
All
I
right.
did it.
What'd you get?
Uncomplicated success.
Clean success?
Clean success.
Okay.
Success with no complication.
Yeah. So he says, I think that arrangement will work. We'll maybe do a few tests, and see how things go, as long as you follow my rules as well. Okay. Now, Maga, you're still in here. That's right.
Hi.
And you kind of get the sense, because it's a one-on-one connection, he says your name that he picked up from just in your memories. So, I can see you had ulterior motives for coming here, but understandable ones. Maybe we should discuss that a bit more with your friend here.
Calling them ulterior is overstating them. I am certainly. I was trying not to upset the sanctity of your, like I was, as much as you were being a safe place, and I had no interest in breaking your safe place, but also I have interest in ensuring the safety of of one of your clients. I assume he was one of your clients.
Yeah.
We have some evidence that he was one of your clients. No interest in. I have no interest in doing anything specifically, untrustworthy.
So, Ryota, you see him pull his hands away from Mogget, and both of you hear, yes, this young goblin is a valued customer of mine, and if there's concern about him, I'd be happy to do anything I can to help. I haven't seen him any more recently than that. What would I say? That the snake folk girl has, but her concern troubles me as well, and I'd love to do anything I can to help the two of them. Is there any information I might be able to provide you to help your investigation? Or services I might perform to that end?
Do you have any idea about where he might have gone?
The last time he was here was, I believe, let me check. And he heads into another room and pulls out a kind of ledger that has records of all of the visits. 2 weeks ago, I recall him saying he came just before beginning to study for his finals. But no sooner than them. He did talk about how he was really hoping to do good on the exams because his father had promised to take him to his favorite restaurant if his GPA was a great high enough criteria. And that he was excited about that opportunity, but also it was causing him a lot of stress, hence the mind blank therapy that I provided.
And meta knowledge, do we know he did not do well on that, right?
You don't know. You do know that Sadasa told you that right after the exams, he said he was going to go visit the genie. And that was the last she heard of him.
Okay, well, I'm gonna send a message out to fucking LZ being like, I start my new primary suspects are people that are around here, namely some sketchy ass dwarves, some crazy sketchy dwarves. I'm gonna say this to the guy in front. It's like, do you know the kind of suspicious dwarf out front? He's like eyeing us up.
So first off, you said you had the spell phone kind of out, sort of like in a walkie-talkie style.
Yeah, I'm just like pulling it out.
So when Mogget says this, LZ, does it like play out loud from your pocket or something?
Or do you have it like?
Well, that's up to you. Like, I was thinking that I'm electronic and can kind of do whatever in that regard, but there's probably
so, like-
powers involved with communicating silently, and I don't have anything like that. So if it plays out loud, it plays out loud. That's up to you.
No, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense that you would have some like integrated systems to communicate with those kind of things more directly than just a speaker. That like you have speakers to play that kind of stuff if you wanted to play it out loud, but the default would just be the digits are wired directly into your robot brain or whatever, or the binary, whatever. So yeah, in that case, no, it wouldn't play out loud.
Yeah, but I'm picking up on this concern that Maggott thinks that
He might have been kidnapped by some weird dwarf.
yeah, that this happened outside of the clinic.
All right, and at this time, so you receive that message, and then the dwarf says, one sec. Hey, Sagittarius, would you mind helping me bring this thing to our office? I'll pay you for it. And the other dwarf says, sure. And stands up and begins moving to kind of like get on the other side of you. Maggott, the genie responds saying, oh yeah, one of the dwarves I pay to clean here every now and then. He helps out a few of the businesses in this area. The other I haven't seen too often. He says it's his cousin.
So
He's a sketchy fuck.
yeah, my lights turn red, and I will say out loud, it's getting hot out here, and I wanna draw my pistol, point it at the dwarf right in front of me, and say, "Where's the goblin kid?"
All right.
Direct.
Are you broadcasting any of this back to Maggott and Ryota?
I mean, like, the second...
I mean, I would have said that out loud.
Through the-
Like the dwarves can hear it, they can hear it.
Yeah, I'm hauling... Maggott is immediately, like, hauling. Being like, ah, yep. Shit to get done. Excuse me, Genie. I pay him, leave behind my rune end. Also, if you care about your neighborhood, I'll say, if you want to help, don't risk yourself. Don't risk your own safety, but...
All right.
I'm running out too, I guess.
Okay. Give me one.
Do we get the prepared? Is it still this? I guess it kind of is. We kind of prepared for this thought. We were kind of preparing around dealing with the. This is not the battle we were particularly planned for, but we're planned loosely.
All right. So the two of you reach outside. And the genie will come with you. So, making sure I got everything. All right. So, LG1, make a roll to convince him to kind of stand down, and you're gonna have 2 disadvantages on this.
Okay. Can I use gunnery? Can I intimidate with this weapon
Yeah.
and my red lights and all that stuff?
Yeah, but it will be very hard.
Yeah. Success with a complication.
Okay. So seeing the 3 of you head into the street and the LG1 pull out the gun. The dwarf he has his hand on his hip, but he does take a step back. So he's not gonna try to grab you or attack you immediately. But the complication is that he says into his phone, code 7, need backup immediately. What do you do? And
Can I
this is
shoot the
open
phone?
to. Yeah, that complication will still happen, but you can make a roll to try to shoot the phone.
Okay.
And also, I should mention, in this combat, the genie is an ally, so that means you can use the free action command an ally to have him either deal damage, which he's level 1, so it's just 1 point of damage, or use his technique, which is to make a character incapacitated temporarily. So that's an option, but that can only be done once per round. So, well, LZ1, we'll say that your action was to kind of intimidate him. So what are the other 2 of y'all doing?
Okay.
And I say it's a far distance across the street where the 3 of them are.
All right. Can I see, like, clearly people look like they're reaching for weapons.
Yeah.
I would just like to, like, call out to them. I drop my briefcase on the ground and, like, as it, like, sort of, like, falls open, but I'm not gonna, like, draw it immediately. Like, it's just, like, it's my, my briefcase weapon is available to me, but I'm just gonna, like, call out to everybody, like, put my hands up, like, oh, hey, I don't know what's going on out here, what just happened, but maybe we can all put our weapons away and we'll all stay calm. I don't actually know if there's any sort of role for it. Like, I don't have any talents related to that. I just feel like that's what I should do. I guess untalented.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah. You can roll untalented. And I'll give you an advantage since he's already kind of backed down a little bit from LG1's intimidation. So that'll be easy.
Alright, easy. Cool. I got a clean success.
Okay. So he lowers his guard a little bit. And you get the sense that he kind of thinks that, like, LZ1 is a robot owned by Ryota. And so he's like, okay, he's telling his robot to stand down. I'm not in danger immediately. Mage, what are you doing?
I'm gonna wander out and be like, what? Yeah, it's like, I guess I'm just like kind of following out behind and just like, so what's your business with with my friend here? Pointing to LZ.
You're gonna have to make a roll for him to give you any information.
I mean, I'll happily roll insight at him.
And that's gonna be hard.
Advantaged, because I called him out earlier.
Yes.
So standard. Yeah.
Yep.
Success with a complication. Complicated success. And I am no longer. Oh, I no longer have a clue on him.
Okay. So he'll say, "Your robot's here, really interesting, and I have a engineer friend who's interested in checking it out. Maybe I can help get its problems fixed."
Usually, that's not acceptable behavior to robots you don't know the owner of.
Let's see. Complication is that the reinforcements are a little bit closer to arriving.
Sure. So.
LG1, you said you wanted to shoot the phone. Is that still the case, or?
Well, I'm definitely gonna call out to both of you that they've called in reinforcements. No, I think that I want to. I mean, since the situation is like not devolved into violence yet, I'm not gonna. And they think that Ryota was commanding me to lower my weapon.
Combination.
Yeah. It's more
I'm
like
gonna,
he's like, there's this weird, broken, crazy robot, but now his master's here, so it's not going to be as crazy.
I want to step forward and put the gun even more up in his face and say, "Tell them it's all good. Get on the phone and tell them that it's all good."
All right, that's going to be a hard roll.
Okay. That is a huge failure. I'm gonna re-roll my talent die.
Okay.
Success with a complication. With 2 complications.
No, the reroll
No,
replaces it.
reroll just gives you back. Gives you full success.
Okay, I guess the information thinks this too.
Yeah, I need to fix that.
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second. All right. So he holds up the phone and says, with kind of a shaky voice, belay that. The situation's under control. But he's just like staring daggers at you.
As he should be.
And then, is there a quiet complication, or are we waiting for one?
The other dwarf is going to start sprinting down the street and gets a far distance while you're focused on this one.
Oh
That's
dear.
he can fuck off. This guy's the like local. He's like he knows somebody. He knows this guy, but he's not like doing anything wrong.
Yeah, I have the impression that right now I've got my gun pointed at the cousin, but I don't know for sure which person it is.
So Margaret's gonna just like keep being like, so do you just like stand outside this clinic and like scope interesting people? Like, what's your business here?
I think he's just gonna say, look, you got me outnumbered. I'm not giving you any more information.
LZ1 says that does not compute.
He's like, do you want to say that to the dad of the kid that got lost here? We could just assume you took him. Have him take it out of your flesh. Take his pound of flesh out of you. I mean, like, I'm happy to do that. Just assume it's you. If you got nothing, if you're getting tight-lipped with me, I can assume it's you. I'm like, we're not.
Something I meant to ask about.
Yeah?
What's the sort of like legal, like, do we have the power to arrest people?
So each tower is kind of governed by the corporation that owns it. They employ different security services and a sort of private police force to enact the laws that keep the place the way they want it to be. So what he says is,
which is to say, if you don't have the ear of the corp, you basically, the laws are just whoever fucking has them. It is the laws of the streets, loosely, and we have some backing. Like, I'm just gonna go put him in front of another person who has more power than he does. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like threatening to offer him up to someone with more power than he has.
yeah, well, because what he's going to respond to what you said is, I don't want to die. That's why I said what you wanted me to say. But if you kill me, you're gonna have bigger problems to deal with.
I'm not trying to kill you. I'm just trying to, whatever kid's dad. How long have you been hanging out here? Can you answer that? But, I mean, like, it's a
I've already told you more than my contract allows.
ah.
Contract. Interesting.
I'll just say, Ryota, 65% chance this guy knows where the kid is. We should bring him in.
That seems fair enough to me. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
I heard the part about him calling for backup, right?
Yes.
yeah.
I am suspicious they still might be coming, so I want to keep very close eye on, like, I don't know, the corner around here, or like down the street, like just like looking around, like watching for like more people to come rushing in with weapons, perhaps.
Make
But, like,
a
where do we
roll.
Bring him in for. Yeah. Where do we bring him? We can't even get back to. How do we like? The only way we got to this tower is the smokestack.
Can we use the smokestack to get back? Can't we?
But how do we get him? We don't have contact for him. Are we containing this guy?
other bridges.
I think if we
and stuff.
need him, he's just there, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
Like if we
is
go,
like,
if we just bring him, then he's just like, we
Yeah.
bring this dwarf in,
he'll be there.
the
Yeah,
chimney
well-
will be there waiting for us. So,
Yeah. I
Okay.
assume it's almost like a kidnapping on our part, but we will never get in trouble for it. We might just get stopped, that kind of deal.
Yeah, like we might get in trouble if the person we're kidnapping him from is powerful, but like that is, like, you know.
Yeah.
Rio, to make a roll to see if you can figure out whether or not the reinforcements are still coming.
Sure. Can I use my sharp eyes from being a marksman?
Yes.
Cool. And how difficult is this?
It's gonna be standard.
Cool. That is a complicated success.
Okay. I mean, the success will also be the complication, which is from the direction that the other dwarf ran. It's still a good ways away, but you do hear the sound of marching boots.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Can I go?
Yeah.
All right, we need to do this now. Genie, what's in his head? Where's the kid?
I only operate on consenting clients.
He only operates on consenting clients.
And he'll say to the dwarf, or, I mean, he kind of projects the thoughts telepathically. Would you permit me to look inside your mind? And the dwarf says, fuck no.
Yeah, fuck off, actually.
Alright.
Can I?
I want to say I'm assembling my weapon from the briefcase.
Yeah, somebody apply some pressure to this guy.
I mean, like, can I? We can.
Can't Mogget
throw-
make him talk?
I was gonna say, not exactly, but I could. Let me see what I got. I just switched to.
Can you guys hear the storm outside my room? Do I need to? Okay, good.
So yeah, Chris, I think I kind of, instead of having it be fear manipulation, I think I want it to be like heroics manipulation. I think I want my target to be like, instead of making them terror and scared, I want them to like whatever they like, like whatever would trigger the. You know how like they say, oh, moms will like pick up cars for their young or whatever. Whatever like triggers that. Like, oh, if they have a kid that they want to protect, they're like, oh, that thing's threatening my kid. Or if like they like, it's like that's a child. You know, like if they care about kids, that's a child marker. If they care about animals, like that's a like what like that kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like it inspire heroic. I want to like inspire heroics in people, if that makes sense. Like like wrong, like actively wrong heroics. Right? Like I want to like. The idea here is like to get them to go and hit their allies because they think their ally is the dragon, whatever their dragon is. You know what I'm saying? Tilting at windmills. Does that land for anybody? getting to be
vaguely
Don
aware.
doing going full Don Quixote is very on brand for.
Hit him with the old Don Quixote.
Don Quixote is a character is an old man who is obviously not a knight, and there hasn't been knights in a long time actually. But he like read fantasy books and loses his mind a little bit, decides he's a knight, and goes around and like does a bunch of things. And one of the things he does is he jousts on the back of I think it's a mop and a donkey that he charges a windmill with. Like tilting is to joust, and he jousts with a windmill on the back of a donkey.
So what's Maga doing?
I'm just trying to like affect this guy's brain to think that he's like that, to make him think he's doing, to encourage him to be doing the right thing. Does that make sense? Like to be like protecting the kid, or like that. That's what I'm just trying to use the power of conjure fear, but it's gonna like conjure, like heroism in him, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so just so you understand, that power is sort of like cause the person to have an emotional reaction, but the emotional reaction is dependent on them and their state, and so it.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
It's not. I'm not expecting. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not like I have no power over what exactly it is. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
I'm like be a hero guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
good like, and it's with a target towards goodness. But yeah, whatever. Standard, hard, easy. Very hard.
Hard.
Oh yeah.
Frolic. Clean success.
Okay.
No, uncomplicated success.
So. Like, the only really interpretation I can think of what he does in that scenario is he's just going to pull out his gun and shoot at LZ1.
Sure, we start a fight. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly makes it very clear that he's the one who's starting the fight, and he's the one who's firing the first shot and causing the violence.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to give his consent because he wants to protect the kid.
And so, like my target is to like my hope is to pull him away from loyalty to his clan and towards loyalty to like protecting a child, but I have no control over that.
Okay.
And Mogget is not skilled at
mean,
this, and I'm very happy for it to have gone wrong. Sorry.
So he'll drop.
None of us are good at this job. Actually, we're all kind of like crowd control and fighters, and this is like a weird interrogation spy shit that we don't know what to do. So Moggy did what she could, and that's not success. That's fine.
Okay, so he will quickly, with a trained arm, draw and fire a sidearm into LZ1. LZ1, you take 2 points of damage. This does give you the information, though, based on the way your magic works, Mogget, that he seems to not care about the kid at all.
Yeah, he's actually a piece of shit. One thing we did learn is that he is a douchebag. That he doesn't care about like he does not have any. Does he know about the kid? We don't know. Anyway, that's fine.
Okay. Confirmation that LZ1's, seat of his soul, if you will, is not in his head. Is he just tanks a headshot?
The head is not the most important processing unit.
Alright. So we'll be in turn order again. That was Mogget. I'm going to do it in the order of the Discord. It would just help for me.
I forgot bio, and we are going on end of time. Just a heads up.
Okay, we'll see where we get in the next 15-20 minutes or so, and then probably end it no later than after this combat.
Sure, yeah.
Ryota, what are you doing?
I want to fire a warning shot in hopes of getting him to drop his weapon. So I want to do like the scare. I'm trying to think what's a way I could absolutely terrify him with my marksmanship. Like I want to like shoot some hair off the top of his head, like,
Okay.
or shoot some of his beard out. Like,
Go for it. Because of the intense emotions coursing through him through Mogget's magic, this is gonna be very hard.
oh dear. All right. Can I use my prepared for this?
Yeah.
Give myself an advantage. All right. So very hard. And then the advantage pushes it to just hard.
Yep.
It's fine. I believe in myself. That is a complicated success for me.
Okay. So, more just from being spooked than actually intentionally doing so, he drops the pistol. But you hear those boot steps getting louder, and you think the next complication that is used for that reinforcements will arrive on scene.
All right. Cool.
LZ1, what do you do?
I think LZ1's gonna have to react out of self-preservation, and I'm gonna go ahead and use my last ammo. I didn't notice him drop his gun because I just got shot in the head. I'm gonna just fire 3 shots right at this guy.
Okay. Roll your dice.
Let me make sure I use my gunnery. 1 hit. 1 miss. Oops, I rolled too much. Well, that'd be a miss anyway.
Okay. So
1 hit.
All right, and then a
1
complication.
hit, 1 complication.
Okay. He is going to. He's gonna grab you. So you get the grabbed condition. Which makes you immobilized as well. And he says, we'll take what's left of your brain, and that'll give us all the answers we need about what's really going on here. Maggot, you're up.
Wait, I can't find the immobilized. I can't find that. What condition am I looking for? There it is. I couldn't search it for some reason. Immobilized. Okay.
Oh yeah, immobilized. And then he has grabbing, which has most of the rules for grabbing. Maggot, you're up.
Yeah, sorry. Ooh. 1 second. I'm gonna just. How many people are showing up?
Multiple. You
I'm thinking it.
you can make a roll to try to figure that out.
Okay, so no, so like, but like, they're not like here yet. Okay.
Not yet. Also, the genie is there.
Sure, but like the genie is
yeah,
like
I
not
guess he's
doing
not.
shit for
Well,
us.
use
He's not gonna
his
do
genie.
shit for us. He's not gonna help. I kind of. Are the people coming from the direction we came from, or the direction we?
Not the direction you came from. The other way, down the street.
I kind of just want to enchant this guy and wander off with him. How do people feel about that?
I was going to suggest exactly that.
So I'm gonna start playing video games with the dude. I'm prepared. I have not yet used prepared. I'm gonna take an advantage on this roll.
Okay, so one thing is, if you want to, because they're going to get here soon, but not quite here yet, it's going to be kind of a race. So if you want to move,
Sure.
you need to do so before you take your action. And
Oh, actually, no. I'm slowed, y'all. Someone's gonna have to help me be unslowed.
no, wait.
Are you
Yeah, no,
slow? Maybe I missed something.
that's from the AC unit.
So, but have we? I guess we haven't patched up, or no, we've taken minutes since then.
Yeah,
It's gone.
so that's fine.
Right.
Yeah. It's a new scene.
It is a new scene. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and move and then enchant. Someone else can pick him up because he's not. I can't. Enchant doesn't make him follow me, so I'm gonna chuck him a controller as I walk off.
Alright, make a roll. This is going to be standard. I'm actually no hard because of his personality.
Yeah, and also standard because I have prepared. I'm going to spend prepared.
Yes.
Success with a complication.
Okay. So he is dazzled.
He is dazzled. I didn't realize seeing an ally take damage drops it. That's good to know.
Yes. I think that's something I recently added.
I like that.
Oh, and I took out the part about. Oh wait, no, never mind. That was something else. Okay. So he is magically compelled to start playing a video game. And the game that he chooses from your library of games is a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
The like a Call of Duty type military thing. Okay, and then for the complication, the reinforcements arrive. You see a group of soldiers wearing the emblem of the Perla Studios Corporation. Sorry, no, not that. This is. They're wearing a. Basically, they're like a mercenary force. And there's a label that says Principal Associates, which is like the name of the company. And there's a half dozen or so of them, all with guns, and they kind of line up. So in game terms, this is like a group, so it's not like you're suddenly severely outnumbered, but it is not necessarily easy to defeat. And so there's a group of the Principal Associates soldiers, as well as one other person wearing a similar uniform, but carrying a like a big satchel with a bunch of like tools and wires sticking out of it. So there's a engineer there as well, who you can probably figure out is Vasilis. And so the complication was that all of them arrive on the scene, and then they kind of line up, and they're not moving towards him yet, but they are like preparing to start shooting at all of you who have attacked their
ally.
So Ryota, you're up.
Great. I immediately am going into battle mode. I am not a machine, but I do have a battle mode. My eyes don't turn red, but I shout at the genie, "Get inside! Just take cover. Get behind something."
He'll happily do
LZ,
so.
grab the dwarf, and Margaret, you stay focused and keep him.
If you shoot his friends, he's gonna wake up.
Right.
New learned. I think we want to shoot him for. I think we now have a new. I mean, what do we? I don't know what to do. Knock him out? Can we knock him out? You need to handle him before you start a new fight.
What I want to do is force the enemies to take cover.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to, before you even said that, actually, I was planning to do this. I want
Sure.
to force them to stop and take cover so that they can't get a clear shot at us. So I want to try to provide covering fire as we retreat.
All right. So there's two ways to do that. One is you can take this setup action, which will just give an advantage on the next roll involving them, which will reduce the chance of them getting a complication. Or you can do an improvise, where you make a roll, and if you succeed, then I'll narrate them like taking cover and not taking shots, and narratively I'll pick different complications. So there's some risk. The setup is guaranteed, but but not as big of an effect as if you succeed on the roll to improvise and make them take cover. So whichever you think makes more sense for what you're trying to do.
I think I would like to just go for the setup. Make somebody more likely to be able to just get this guy out of here. So I'm just like firing off, like I set up on a trash can and just like fire a couple of shots intentionally, not really actually hitting anybody, but like just trying to force them to take cover, make a lot of noise, hit close to them as we try to get out of here.
Okay. So the next roll involving them will have advantage.
Does running away from them involve them?
If the entire party decides to like sort of retreat, then that would be a group roll, which would give an advantage for that kind of scenario. LG1, what do you do?
Okay. So I'm down with the retreat. I'm guessing I'm no longer immobilized since he's dazzled.
Yeah.
So I do want to move as far as I can for free and still make a primary action.
Okay, so you can move
You
a
can pick
near
'em up?
distance.
Yeah, and so what I want to do is I'm going to drag this guy along. And then I'm hoping that I don't get shot at because as I'm doing this, and I want this guy to think that, we're to not fight. So I'm going to tell him that I detected his injuries are fatal, and I'm going to heal him with my magic as I drag him away.
Okay. So
it's very much a do not resist. You're bleeding out here.
I see. Okay, there's a couple things involved here, because one is convincing him that you're telling the truth. One is dragging him away, and another is not getting shot at. So I'm trying to figure out how that all translates to...
So what I'm trying to... I'm going to roll my power to heal. That's just my intention.
He's going to heal.
Okay.
But I guess to set the
They're just like
difficulty
the rest are all just threats. He's casting the heal spell.
Right.
And having a hopeful consequence, and hoping for a certain set of consequences.
We're going to go with... I think this will be easy because of the dazzle. And then your healing talent die. And unless there's a complication that changes things, after that we can try a group roll if everybody wants to retreat with this dwarf and get away.
Okay, so right now I'm looking at a success with a complication. So he heals 2 points for sure.
Okay.
And I want to push myself to re-roll.
You can't re-roll. Can you re-roll?
No, not if you have a success with
you can't get rid of complication. There's no way to get rid of a complication meaningfully.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, so since I didn't give you an advantage from the setup, I'm not going to have all the sniper or all the soldiers shoot at you. But the complication is that let's see. Okay, now I think
That's touch. That's feel.
Let me check. The engineer shouts out, "That's one of Talia's robots," and that name is meaningful to you in a way that you don't understand. But that also means that, if you do get away, they know some things about you.
You have been partially identified.
Yeah. So LG1 has the dwarf grab.
Yep.
Are y'all just trying to escape at this point, or is there anything else you want to accomplish here?
Haul ass.
All right. So we'll start with Mogget and then go around. Mogget, what is your strategy for? Or you're going to need to make a talent roll, because it'll be a group roll. But how are you getting away?
It's gonna be enchantment. I'm gonna just like make pretty lights and nostalgic video games in their peripheral visions and stuff like that. Just like not a full enchant, but like a little bit like, don't look at me.
Okay. Ryota, what's your plan?
For escaping, I feel like using my divination is going to be helpful in this situation. Just kind of like look at my watch, be like, all right. 3, 2, 1. Okay, go now.
Yeah.
And then we rush across the street at one point while gunfire is coming behind us.
And LG1?
I take on a pretty funny shape that turns out to be very good for both carrying somebody and moving quickly. This is untalented.
Okay. I'm gonna say all of these are easy thanks to Ryota's covering fire. So you can all make those rolls, and let me know as the results come in.
Wait, I got a success with no complication. Somebody else got a success. Yeah.
Yeah, I got success with complication, and everyone else got clean success. Nice.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes and 1 failure.
Okay, that's what I wanted. So that means that it's a clean success. So you're able to get away. And just so I can figure out my prep, what's kind of the plan here, if you have one?
Bring him to the smokestack. Just interrogate him
Can we get the smokestack if we don't have a relic? I thought that's the only way.
I'm just gonna go to a smoke. We got no other options. I'm gonna just go to a smokestack and hope he's there. Is my plan.
I would recommend we find is there maybe a noodle shop somewhere or something? Are there businesses that are friendly to rats and kind of don't ask questions or anything like that?
Yeah, what would be a business that y'all have worked with before? Maybe a business that you've helped before, and they're like, okay, these guys are good. I'm not going to ask questions because they helped me out in the past.
Hey, can it be good intentions?
Oh, yeah. That works.
What's that?
Oh, but I don't think that's in this tower, though. I don't think it matters.
I mean,
it is now. It's in this tower now.
All right, it's in this tower now.
And do you want to explain to the others?
Oh, this is the restaurant that I come here at least once a week to meet up with my sister and just catch up and talk and hang out. It's my favorite vegan restaurant. They have anything. They have vegan steaks. They have vegan crab fries. They have everything you might want, but it's
lab grown meat. We're in the future.
Yeah.
I think we're in the modern time, but hey.
I mean, it's
magical modern.
A lot of it is just mushrooms that taste very similar and seasonings and stuff like that.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so we'll pick up next session with y'all arriving there. Make sure to mark any of your experiences that happened this session to apply next time. And we'll see what kind of information y'all can get out of this dwarf. Cool.
Ding.
Thanks for playing.
Thank you all.
I had one that I wanted to ask about.